What's going on, knuckleheads? Welcome back. This is our Andrew Moloney versus Joshua Franco post-fight reaction discussion. An absolutely brilliant performance by Joshua Franco, and I must give credit where credit is due on the prediction to my co-host on Monday nights at 7, the inimitable Manny Robles, who called it. And the reason Manny Robles called this fight correctly is because he had a lot of experience going up against Joshua Franco, a Robert Garcia fighter, with his own fighter, Oscar Negrete, who fought 3 incredible fights against Joshua Franco. And they were 3 incredible fights that Manny Robles felt that gave Joshua Franco the experience he needed to overcome a very tough and a very game Moloney this evening. However, despite the toughness, despite the fact that he was defending his belt, despite the fact that he was undefeated, Andrew Moloney just didn't have what it took today to get over and get beyond Joshua Franco. I mean, Joshua Franco was just absolutely relentless today. You know, it was his inside fighting, it was his mid-range fighting, it was his constant combination punching. It was a great pace that he had set for himself that he knew he was going to be able to keep up the majority of the fight. I think what happened was, Franco fought his typical style. He fought his typical style where he's sort of a mid-range, sort of inside kind of guy, where he's throwing all kinds of combinations and mixing up his punches well. He's got a fantastic arsenal, a good variety of punches. And I think, at first Moloney was doing okay, moving around, jabbing here and there, but there's only so long you can keep that up for. It really reminded me of the Beterbiev versus Gvozdyk fight, where, Beterbiev kept fighting at the same pace, at the mid and inside ranges, and just kind of let his opponent wear himself out. And I felt like Joshua Franco's pressure was just, it was set at a good pace. He was relentless. He never stopped. He was landing all kinds of combination punches. And what I noticed was Moloney had really poor head movement. I felt like Moloney's head was not moving at all. So every time Franco was throwing something, it was landing a lot of the time. I felt like the fight was pretty close halfway through. I felt like slowly but surely Franco's pace started to wear on Moloney. I felt like really in the 9th round is really where Franco started to separate himself. And then in the 11th round, Franco just saw that Moloney was breaking. He saw his defense was breaking down to that pressure, and he was just getting caught. He eventually got dropped in the 11th round. Moloney is a gutsy guy. He got back up. He kept on fighting, but it just wasn't enough. The one thing that worried me, though, was, I very much believed that Franco earned the victory in this fight. And I thought it was quite clear. But you know how boxing judges are. And so that kind of worried me when we went to a unanimous decision, or rather when we went to a decision. But it was a proper unanimous decision in favor of the new WBA Junior Bantamweight World Champion, representing for San Antonio, Texas. Proudly had it written on his shorts, Joshua Franco. And, this brings up the question, had Oscar Negrete been allowed to fight the other Moloney brother 48 hours from now, would we have had the same sort of result? Looks like we've got a call coming in. Looks like it's Kevin from Chicago. What's going on, my brother? How are you? Likewise, man. Likewise. Give me a second. For some reason, I'm not picking up your sound. Give me 1 second. Hello?
Hello? Yep, you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you. How are you doing, brother?
Pretty good, man. I've been watching some fights. Just got done watching that Moloney fight. And, man, I don't know how that little dude's a champion because, I don't know, man. I never heard of him before this, and he's never even fought in the States. And he just seemed like he didn't have no power in his punches. His little hopping around. It just didn't seem like a championship material. The dude just walked him down and broke him. I thought it was a wide margin. I was a little bit surprised by those scores.
You know, you said what? You said 114, 113.
Yeah, I saw. I think that was one of the cards. 114, 113. Franco.
Yeah. Yeah, that wasn't, that wasn't what was hot on the streets at all, man. I definitely thought that Franco won that fight pretty clearly, Kevin. What do you think about that, brother?
Definitely.
Can you hear me, Kevin? Hello?
Yes. Hello, you there?
Yeah. Now I can hear you a little better, brother. But yeah, I mean, it was a surprise, Kevin, because typically, especially in boxing, you expect the A side to come through and win the fight. So I mean, it was kind of a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, there's some late betting coming there, and there's some late betting came in on Franco, and they ended up being the favorite. Moloney was the underdog, so that's a little bit. I never heard of these guys before the fight.
Yeah.
But from what I've seen, yeah, that they're really promoting Moloney. He was the A side, like you said. And Franco just came in. He had Robert Garcia in his corner, and I know Robert Garcia. He's a well-known trainer, so yeah, they're really pushing for this. Maybe they're trying to make a name off Moloney, like the big upset or something. I don't know. But the people in the know, I guess, they knew that Malone. They put some money down on Franco. He ended up becoming the favorite, so obviously they knew something we didn't, I guess.
You know what happened, Kevin, is, well, at least what I believe is they were probably getting behind Moloney because they wanted to break into this Australian market. I mean, him and his brothers, two guys from Australia, pretty much they're probably the best fighters in boxing coming out of Australia right now. And they were probably looking to capitalize on that and the fact that they're twins, which is kind of interesting. But it looks like that house of cards came crumbling down today.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't do him any favors giving him Franco. That dude's a tough out for anybody. If you've seen his fights, I think I've seen some highlights of some of his fights. And he comes forward, and he's really tough and durable. And he looked like the bigger guy in there. He looked like the harder puncher, too. So they didn't do him any favors. I think there's some other fighters that probably would have got a little bit of a easier out. But they made for a good fight. It was surprisingly made for a good fight. That usually you don't see that. Usually you see the A side come in and walk over the guy. So like you said, it's a pleasant surprise. Well, that happened last week, too, with that. Who's that dude? Plania and Greer?
Yeah, Plania. Yeah, Plania was also, he was another guy who was expected to lose that fight against Greer and, ended up upsetting the apple cart, which was also pretty exciting.
Definitely. And there's another upset with that Kaminsky kid, David Kaminsky versus Clay Collar. I think that was on that card, too. He came
Absolutely.
in and upset it. So there's been some decent upsets, so a nice surprising change. In boxing, you usually don't get that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, you're totally right. Maybe it's something that's happening because of the coronavirus. Maybe these guys are not on their not on their A game. Maybe they've been sitting around getting lazy, and these hungry guys are coming up and getting after it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So who's this other the other twin, Tony Moloney. He's fighting Thursday.
Yeah, he's going to be fighting Thursday. I think he was actually maybe scheduled to fight. I think he was scheduled to fight Negrete, who was a guy, and I'm not sure if you tuned in. I'm not sure if you tuned in or not on Monday, yesterday, when we did the show with Manny Robles. Were you able to watch that?
Yeah, I was watching it. Yep.
Yeah, so basically Manny's guy, Oscar Negrete, had fought Joshua Franco, the guy that won tonight, 3 times in an incredible trilogy. They had 2 draws and 1 fight in the middle where Franco barely won. And so Manny Robles, even though he was telling me that he felt like the Moloney brothers are good fighters, he actually picked Franco to win tonight, and he did that yesterday.
Wow, but good call. That was a good call on him. I missed that. I don't think I seen that pick. I seen most of the show. I must have missed that part. Should have put some money down on Franco.
Yeah, man. When Manny speaks, people need to start listening, brother.
Definitely. So do you know anything about the other brother, Moloney?
You know, he's a good fighter too. He's a good fighter. We're just gonna have to, wait to see what happens on Thursday. I don't know. I'm not familiar with the opponent. I'm not really, to be honest, I'm not very familiar with these guys that have been fighting. especially Moloney and Franco. I just knew the basics about them. Because they're not really household names or anything like that. Moloney and now Franco is the WBA champ, but apparently they became WBA champ because they sort of, I guess, inherited it or they raised the real WBA champ, which is Roman Gonzalez, and somehow Moloney became a champ. Maybe his interim title became a regular title is what happened. I think he had won an interim title and became a regular title. So, he's not like a household name by any means, but I think what happened was Top Rank was probably trying to really push him on the masses as twins and as Australians, and it didn't really work out for them.
No, but to see if the other brother can redeem him this week.
That'll be interesting to watch, man. And I don't know if you noticed this. I thought Moloney is a good fighter. He was in there doing well in the beginning, especially, but he just didn't have any head movement. I felt like he didn't have any head movement at all, and he just got walked down and wore down. What did you think?
Yeah, he just looked small. He looked too small. He didn't have a lot of power on his punches. It seemed like he was whipping everything into that body shot that really didn't have an effect on Franco. He was just walking forward. And sometimes you may be a little bit flashier fighter. You have a good body shot. It looks good, and or you can slip and throw a punch. But at the end of the day, it's a fight. If some dude is a little bit bigger, hits harder, you just walk forward and beat you up. That seems to be what the case is. Sometimes it's not all about sweet science. Sometimes it's just about roughing you up, getting in there and beating you up. You know what I mean?
100%, Kev. 100%, man. I appreciate you. Anything else you want to say before I let you go here, brother?
Absolutely not. Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you calling in. I really appreciate it, Kev.
All right, you got it.
Have a good one, brother. Kevin from Chicago, great friend of the show, man. Always appreciate his input. Not only in MMA, but in boxing, man. We got some real hardcores that come into the chat. So I appreciate you guys on that. But yeah, that's what I noticed today from Moloney. I just felt like he didn't have the head movement to deal with the punches that he was receiving, the combinations that Franco was throwing. It was just Franco fought the perfect fight. He was active enough and kept a pace that was high enough for Moloney not to be able to avoid, the damage that he took. Moloney was trying to move, but he didn't really have any head movement. He was moving his feet around, decently, but, eventually he just tired out. When one guy is kind of acting the hammer, the other guy eventually is going to act the nail, and I think that's what happened tonight. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what happens next with the brother who's fighting on Thursday. I do look forward to that. I'm not sure, I don't know much about the other Moloney brother. I don't know much about his opponent, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I mean, this is a big win. This is a huge win for Joshua Franco, becoming a champion. And I think it also raises the status of the friend of our show, Oscar Negrete, and of course his coach Manny Robles, because man, they had a fantastic trilogy with Joshua Franco, and it goes to show that these guys are championship material. And congrats on becoming a champion to Joshua Franco. Neil the Security says, "Do you make FightersRep mouthpieces?" Neil, sorry, my man, I do not make those, but we do have in the links below FightersRep t-shirts, hoodies, tank tops. So definitely get those and and check it out. I'd appreciate you doing that. Anything you guys purchase, anything you guys donate to the super chat, it gets reinvested right back into the promotion. And just so you guys know, we're the only pro kickboxing promotion in the state of California right now. I do definitely need your help to continue to promote these young fighters, especially in these circumstances. We need to keep this thing alive since we're not allowed to even do fights in California right now because of COVID-19. So, again, any support is greatly appreciated. You get your shirts in the links below. Anything, again, that you buy gets reinvested right back into the promotion and, putting together what I believe is the greatest kickboxing promotion in the world. Maranguape Oficial says, "Manda aló para Lucas, aquí Brasil." Thank you, Brazil, for being here. Thank you, Lucas. Shout out. They're saying, send a hello to Lucas here in Brazil or here, Brazil. So hello, Lucas. Thank you for tuning in. Really appreciate you guys. Let me see what else is going on here. So yeah, that looks like all of it, guys. I don't have much else for you. Definitely let me know what you think. Share, comment, like, do everything that the good people on YouTube do. Subscribe, hit the bell notification icon next to it. Join Knucklehead Nation. Again, hit subscribe below and join. Appreciate you guys joining me. We'll probably go live Thursday immediately after the fights again, just to have a forum for us to discuss these fights at. And we'll have another fight airing for you guys tomorrow. Also, tune in on Friday. We got a fantastic interview with one of the baddest dudes, that's competed for FightersRep, Roman Puga. His interview premieres in our new format on Friday at 7. You definitely don't want to miss Roman Puga. He's an absolute beast. He fought for FightersRep and won a title. He went on to Bellator, where he's competed. He's also undefeated as a boxer right now. So definitely, I think there's going to be big things ahead for Roman Puga. RGN's in the granite. What's going on, brother? It's been a long time, my man. What's up, Knucklehead? Appreciate you joining me, my man. Not a lot of time left in the chat. Just wanted to say what's up. But yeah, we'll link up again Thursday after the fights. Until then, guys, keep it clean,